This is the modern Israeli Defense Force Manot Krav, or battle ration. This one weighs 13.5 pounds, or 6,259 grams. Manot Krav's rarely used because of the constant access to mess hall food, even in the field. And when it is used, it's typically for, 24 to 48 hours at a time. Oh, yeah, at the top here it says, battle rations cost a lot of money. Do not open in vain. And it says on the side here, kosher for Passover, contains items for legume eaters under the supervision of the chief rabbinate of Israel. And then something like Division of Technology Logistics, servings for 4 soldiers. This thing feeds 4 men when supplemented with 2 loaves of bread or matzah bread during Passover. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, so right off the bat, that is 180 gram tin of halva. And this is hummus, canned hummus spread. 130 grams. You get 2 of those. We'll find out what kind of hummus that is. Might be pretty exotic or pretty basic. We'll find out. A staple classic of the Manot Krav. Our first can of tuna. There's probably more where that came from. Oh yeah, there you go. 2 cans. I'm guessing there's at least 4 cans of tuna. I hope it's only 4. This one's got a little bit of rust. It's fine. Here's our 4th can. Small tuna chunks in vegetable oil. Nice. Chocolate spread. Slight dent, but no bulging to the cans, and I mean, this thing has a 3-year shelf life. I mean, it's just like regular canned food. You can expect about a 3-year shelf life. If there are dents, be careful. Wow. That's a big 200 gram can of peanuts. That's pretty cool. Look at this. There is more tuna. I wonder if this is any different, because look, man, it is just like the other one. 2 different brands of tuna. That's ridiculous. Look at that. Okay, so this is like tuna salad. Alright, so that's a little bit different than just the tuna. A can of corn, sweet corn kernels. The old IDF Manot Krav was designed for 5 soldiers instead of 4. The reason being is this was originally, for the most part, issued to tank crewmen using Sherman tanks. And this thing's still used, it's just not as much. And back then, the can of corn, which you get 2 of them, thankfully it's not swelling, they're dented up pretty bad, but the can of corn back in the 70s, the old Manot Krav, that was the most, valued item, believe it or not. Classic. A big old can of olives. Green olives with the pits most likely still in them. Pineapple pieces in light syrup. And then white beans and tomato sauce. There's just some paper. That's good. It kept them from getting any more dented. Look at this. 12 forks and knives. 1 set of cutlery per meal per day. That's pretty nice. And some trash bags. That's it. Big old empty box. It's a great souvenir. The old ones, they used to only have 8 sets of cutlery. 1 set was used for meat, 1 for dairy. Alright, let's get this laid out here. Okay, so there's everything laid out. Since this ration was designed for Passover, IDF soldiers would be provided with unleavened bread, and that would be matzah bread. Typically issued 2 loaves of bread, or during Passover, an unleavened, matzah bread, and then fresh fruit. In this case, I'm just going to provide some matzah bread. I think that would be about right. This is going to be perfect for the hummus, the halva, the chocolate spread, the tuna, everything. It's going to make this a lot better and make a lot more sense and be appropriate for this specific ration. Going to keep it simple for breakfast. This matzah bread, just unleavened flatbread. It's all in one pack. We'll just open this up and use them throughout the day. All right, let's get this out on your tray. Nice. Okay, let's first start with getting a couple of these out. Like 2 of them for starters. This chocolate spread. No hiss. I don't know why I was expecting one. It smells so rich of cocoa. I can't help but to get this bit here. Oh yeah, whoops. Pure vegetable fat, palm oil or something, and then sugar and cocoa. And just makes this amazing spread or frosting. The halva. It has this light smell of sesame seed and like a toasted sesame seed. Then the tuna. Now that's a beaut. Let's go for breaking this down. It's pretty easy. And it's not too messy. This will be perfect for the bottom of all 3 of these. And probably for improvising with cooking. We'll see what we can do. The tuna and oil, just like it always has been. A lot of oil, a little bit low quality. We try something out here. And I've read, after I did my last IDF, guys saying you needed to take some tissue paper, twist it up, make like a little fuse, and dip it in here. Let's see what we can do with this. I wonder how legit this will end up working out to make like a smoked tuna. It absorbs this oil. Let's see if that stays lit. That's working. First off, just a bite of halva. Look how dense that is. An excellent long-term storage, dense calorie food. High fat, high sugar. Just like the last time, it's not overly sweet. It's just moderately sweetened halva. And what's great about this, it's dry and it flakes beautifully. It's not really going to make the best of spread on its own, but I think it'll pair well with the chocolate spread. So let's move right over to the chocolate. I'm going to first get Just a little smidgen. Oh yeah, look at that. It's just like the richest, sweet, chocolate frosting. I mean, look at it. It's like the... decadence. Okay, so let's try out the tuna just as is. That is not going to work that way. Let's just eat that like this. Then get a bite of the cracker too. That matzah bread is very, very basic. I mean, pairing together is just not very special. There's a tanginess to the tuna that's a little bit off-putting. It's a little bit too oily, but it's okay. Let's try a bite of this so far, like right now. Is it hot? Just a little bit. Let's see here. Wow. It warms up the tuna. I mean, it's still burning off the oil. Didn't taste smoky yet. We'll see what that does, if anything, other than just burning off the oil and being weird. But let's check this out. The first one, more chunks of halva. Whoa. Okay. It's the thing for breakfast. Sugar and fat and cocoa. And with the halva, that's just not overly sweet. It balances it out. Adds this amazing flaky texture with a crunch from the base, which is that matzah bread, which on its own, it has like no flavor. Neutral cracker with no salt. This is just something that you don't get to try very often. Manot Krav, not an easy ration to get. IDF smoked tuna. That definitely works. It gives it a more spreadable texture. Look, it actually spreads. This is the way to do it. Look at this. It's hot. Well, not super hot, not too hot to handle, but definitely warmed it up quite nicely to where it's, steaming up a little bit. Yeah, the tuna being kind of tangy, it's a weird flavor that the smokiness offsets. I mean, once you smoke the tuna, it's essentially like field smoking it. And it's like the only thing you can do to make it not taste kind of trashy. And it's not too oily anymore. You burn the oil off. Look at that. Landed upright. The flatbread. It does go well with the tuna. Once you heat the tuna up, it's more spreadable, and it's not bad. This ration, I hope you got a lot of water with it. You're gonna need it. I keep chugging water in between the little scenes I'm cutting here, but it's in my pocket. I got a bottle of water with the cap off. Pure protein. And this ration, again, I mean, it's not designed to be used for anything really over like 2 days. So, menu variation is not the most important thing. Shelf life, again, not the most important. They're usually used up before they gotta worry about spoilage. And these things could be easily mass produced in a time of war. they could whip this up real quick. So that was a perfect light breakfast. Alright, we're back with lunch. It's going to be a real variety show here. Got green olives, can of peanuts, a dented can of corn, which has no bulge. That's a good sign. What does have a bulge, not this regular tuna, that's going to be what we'll actually eat. What I'm not eating is this, the tuna salad. And every one of these is like this. I mean, I've made it this far because I don't eat stuff like this. I'm not even going to open this. Alright. Let's try and get this all out onto a tray. Nice. Okay. I'm really going to have to improvise this time around because that was a nice little hiss. Nice peanuts. They smell good. Those peanuts aren't rancid or anything. They don't smell stale. I think this is the way to go. I have a feeling you crush up some of these peanuts and use them in cooking. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. It's probably a terrible idea. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, let's see here. Definitely did not plan this, you can tell. It's like peanut butter flour. And then I did the same thing with the matzah bread. Look at that, that's like peanut butter. The stuff on the side. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna close that up. This smells really good. Here's our matzah bread, broken back up into a kind of coarse breadcrumb type deal. See that? Alright, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and just get that in there too. Don't need to smoke it beforehand, we need that oil. Now for the olives. That's definitely going to give a nice excess of liquid. Has the pit. A strong green olive flavor. Not too metallic. Just a delicious, authentic olive. You can't go wrong with something like that. It's just a great whole food. It's been around forever. And this, I'm going to pour some of that juice in here too. Not too much. Let's start with like, yeah, that much. Alright, let's cut a few of these. You can tell I'm not very experienced with cutting olives, but hey, I gotta start somewhere. I think I sort of figured out how to cut these on. There we go. We'll go ahead and get this in here too. Oh, this is gonna be pretty good, I'll bet. Alright, and then this. Go ahead that corn. That's probably way too much corn. Probably should have a bigger mixing bowl than this. Jeez, it all filled up so fast. Oh well. I think I'm gonna have to work it in with my fingers. I think that's about the only way to do it. Oh wow, there we go. That feels interesting. Seems like it has enough actual moisture content. This will be good. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna preheat this pan a little bit. All right, here goes nothing. Will these turn into actual solid enough little fish patties? Or are they just gonna be weird and gross? The smell of the corn held together fairly well. And I'm terrible. Like, for instance, like flipping eggs. Can't, my life depended on it. So what I just managed right there was like amazing. Little Israeli Defense Force fish cakes. Look at that. Man, they actually smell really good. This is great. This is the way to do it. And I had a nice little hiss. Look at that canned hummus. That's a first for me. I always get it. It's fresh. The grocery store, you know. I just got a random MRE spoon, came out of nowhere. That is the most basic hummus I've ever had. I always have it. It's like, you know, it has onion, garlic, you know, a little this and that, a bunch of salt added. Not this stuff. I mean, it just tastes like pure chickpeas. Oh yeah, this is probably done now. Hear that popping? Oops. Here we go. Wow, look at that. I can't believe I made this. It's the first fish cake I've ever made. Whoa. This actually works. Green olives with corn. A peanut flour, excuse me. This all works. I'm not just saying that. I mean, this really does work. The flavor of the peanut has a certain, I mean, it really does, a nuttiness and a perfect crunch. It's a fish cake. I mean, it's like a real fish cake. The peanuts, grind them up, mix it with matzah bread, and makes a perfect flour. And then that little bit of olive oil I added, I guess that cheated. I'm sorry, but I mean, there's oil with the fish. It's just, you would have had to have opened 2 cans of fish. I just wanted to do one. That little bit of a kick of flavor with the green olive. I mean, it really, with that corn, I mean, it's just, it actually blends. And there's a tartness to all of this. I mean, green olive, that tuna, they both are kind of tart. The corn just adds a little bit of flavor and then texture. The flour is crunchy and it makes this, listen. I'm not trying to brag, that's like one of the best things ever cooked. It's one of the only things ever cooked. Look at this piece. I mean, that's just like awesome. It held together. Makes sense though. I mean, all these components, they work together. If you didn't have time to, you know, really prep anything, you could eat everything immediately out of the cans. I mean, the chocolate spread, the halva, the hummus, those are your high dense calorie on the go foods. Super easy to eat. You could just eat it straight out of the can. You wouldn't even need a spoon. I mean, no joke. I mean, and get the forks though, so you don't have to be a total savage, but you like this is great. That hummus is the real deal. The limited menu variation, you know, is concerning until you think outside the box. You're like, you know what? You could pretty much improvise with all that stuff and make something else. You know, I'm probably gonna save the pineapple for dinner. I'm full. I'm gonna finish this up. And then later on tonight, I'm gonna take it over to dinner. Alright, for dinner, got that can of pineapple again. Kind of flaked out for lunch, but that's no big deal because now I got some fruit for dinner. White beans and tomato sauce, another can of hummus, the rest of halva and chocolate spread, and then a couple peanuts left. The rest of them took the rolling pin with 2 pieces of matzah bread and ground it together. Might mix it up with these 2. Alright, let's get this out on your tray. Nice. Okay, let's first start off with, I would say, gotta heat up those beans. Let's get the white beans heated up. It's a pretty strong smell of tomato sauce and like a black pepper kind of. Alright, let's turn the heat on that. Alright, while that's heating up, let's actually go ahead and work on maybe seeing if there's any kind of way to combine peanut, matzah bread, chocolate spread, and halva. And this isn't perfect. I mean, you can see there's some pretty big chunks of peanut. It's not like it turned into peanut butter or anything. Let's start with that. You can take this. I mean, you could eat this. I was eating this out of the can. I was just sitting there. It's just so good. I was like, I gotta save some. Let's just get all this out. Let's see if this will do anything. I mean, I'll bet it'll be great. Look at that frosting. There goes that cheap spoon. Wow. Okay, let's just work this all in together, just as is. I mean, hey, what do we have to lose here, really? Peanut, chocolate spread, halva, and then what's essentially just broken up cracker. Just like breadcrumb. Let's see if this does anything cool, you know, like for anything. We'll figure it out. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, let's try just a piece and see what happens. Look at that. It really isn't that much of a mess. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not as, well, it tastes like chocolate and peanut butter. That's it. It tastes like chocolate and peanuts with weird breadcrumbs. Well, gotta say that's a unique peanut chocolate no-bake cookie with not enough halva. If I saved some of the halva, like more of it, yeah, this is when things really went wrong in this review right here. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, this is pretty brilliant. Okay, that's one of the most amazing things. I mean, it's just like you can actually handle it. You know, that's the thing. You can actually pick up the chocolate spread this way. I bet you could just grind up the peanuts. And if you ground them up enough without it being, you know, actual peanut butter, could have done it even without the matzah. Hmm. There you go. That looks really weird up there, but trust me, that's one of the most delicious things you could ever try. Okay. Alright, these beans, they're heated up. These things are ready to go. They just really started to bring out a nice smell of onion. A sweet onion and tomato smell. Just very basic. I can see it has a fair amount of black pepper. There we go. Not bad. The only thing left, nice little hiss. There we go. I may or may not. You know, I'm probably going to save this. I'm not going to save it. So there's dinner. Let's first start with this. Oh, they're hot. Just a flavor of light onion, tomato, and black pepper. This hummus just on its own. It's like pate, like a meatless pate, essentially. And if you never had hummus, this is pretty different though. It's just the tahini and, chickpeas. Barely any salt. The pineapple. That has nice flavor. I mean, it's good pineapple. It's not, like a really squeaking on your teeth, rubbery, or, unpleasant texture. Just some tart, pretty good quality, not overly canned, flavor. That pineapple's not bad. It's definitely passing grade. And it's funny, I'm just using the spoon. You got this other cutlery. Like this, it's not as effective as a spoon. This ration, I mean, I'm amazed it doesn't provide any drinks. We used to have an instant, sweet tea. It also used to have loaf. It was chicken and beef luncheon loaf, a pork-free Spam, and essentially. IDF stores of loaf ran out November 14th, 2011. So by 2012, it was all gone. The old 5-man Manot Krav came in a cardboard box that was made out of Newark, New Jersey. Had loaf, a can of corn, a couple cans of sardines, pack of hard candy, a large can of some kind of fruit dessert, maybe like a fruit cocktail, a small folding can opener, drink mix powder. It was like a sweet tea. It was like a really sweet tea with like a light fruit flavoring. Hard biscuits and heat tabs. So that was it. And wow, a very prevalent flavor of peanut and halva. I mean, you taste the chocolate. It's like taking the center of EL fudge and mixing it with peanuts. That about wraps this up. I mean, I'm gonna save this, put it in my fridge. Easily mass produced and deployed, and very versatile. You know, it could be used and prepared many different ways. The Israeli Manot Krav. Cheap and effective. Not bad. Well, anyway, this is Steve 1989. I hope you liked the video. And I'll be coming back at you with something new. Or old. Alright, cool. See ya.